Today we close out the emotional story of Eternity in Eternity number 4.
You are now watching Hoodoo TV.
Welcome back to Hoodoo TV. I'm Jared.
And I'm Hoosier.
Today we are talking Eternity number 4, this amazing journey written by Matt Kindt with art by Trevor Hairsine, inks by Ryan Wynn, and colors by David Barron. It is an all-star team, and they are closing off this arc in such an amazing fashion.
Right, they sure are. We're going to try not to get into some spoilers to this. This has been a great series that we want people to connect with on this, because there's plenty of emotional, like, drawn-out pieces that you need to deal with yourself. You need to get into this book. The art team, spectacular. His whole creative team. And just this story of Abram and Mishka in the unknown and their search for their child. And just this journey is like, it really tugged on my heart a lot, this issue.
Yeah, I agree. This really gets into what the characters are feeling a lot more than what is happening. We kind of get a little bit of background onto, why this conflict has been brought together. We get a little bit of a setup for what's to come in the future, but really the main story of this particular issue here is, how Abram and Mishka are dealing with what has happened.
Like I say, the emotional connection of this couple and their child, and what one does with their child, and one's purpose and one's belonging, and what their journey and their story is supposed to be. And and somewhere along the lines, I think a lot of people may be able to connect in one way or another when they think about this. And it really ties in, it clears the story up. It summarizes everything that needed to be summarized, and yet still left a door open for the future. That I would love to see the band get back together and do a Eternity 2 and Eternity 3. But it did open up some really cool doors of some potentials that I hope Matt Kindt gets to explore, and I hope the whole creative team gets to explore at one time.
Yeah, me too. In this issue, we do get to see Abram kind of step out of his comfort zone in a way, or his pattern of nonviolence. We get to see kind of this almost a righteous anger in him, which is great. It's just something incredible, and his history of nonviolence and trying to do the right thing, and it makes it that much more important of what he's feeling, and the scenes of him just kind of going crazy. But then he also has Mishka there to kind of bring him back down,
Right.
Bring him back down to earth, if you will.
They really do work as a good pair. Like, they do match each other so very well. And you get to see that connection of the two matching up. And just, like, Abram's, like, methodical thought, right? Is just, everything is in so much thought. And it's just a cool aspect of this character that's in a totally different normative that you don't usually get with somebody that would, I guess, have these godlike powers that he does.
Right. Especially in a comic book.
Right. Right. Especially in a comic book. And he actually gets to have this, like, I don't know, like, coming of terms of who he is and what there is with his life. And, and Mishka and him kind of have their issue, but they're able to reconnect. They're able to see that. And it is beautifully done. Like, the art, the way it was done was just, like, perfect. The separation of the characters, the togetherness of characters, ultimately, like, Hairsine and then when doing the inks and Baron doing it, it really worked well when you add all of that picture together and then you put in a cool story.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the art team, they tell the story as much as Matt Kindt does in this book, and it is so good. I also want to touch on Mishka a bit. I know we talked a lot about Abram, but she's such an interesting character, especially because she has come to accept who she is and what they have to do before Abram does, you know, and she's the one who kind of has to like bring him into that and explain things to him to help him to understand like what they have to do. And it's just so powerful, you know. I mean, I think she's the closest to this, you know,
Right.
To this conflict, and she's able to do that. So it's just, yeah, it's just such a great book. Tons of feelings, and it's so hard to explain this to you guys without getting so deep into this.
Right.
And I really want you to get into this book because it is an absolute treat. It is so well put together. I mean, if I'm just gonna score it up right now.
Do it.
This one's a 5. The 4's a 5, and I give this whole series a 5 as well. It's been such an incredible journey. Started off so weird, yet brought you right back to what is so important. It's great.
Right.
It is great, and I mean, I'm getting goosebumps talking
Yeah.
about this book.
And I'm going to be right there with you with the 5. This book, not just like the art, the colors, but overall, it's beautiful. Right? Just like it is a beautiful, well done book as a whole. Like, and I don't mean that just by aesthetically pleasing. I mean that by all of it. And it's one of these, I've said this prior, that it's one of these books that we're going to look back on in 10 years. And it's going to be considered like one of the great books. It's going to be, because you got the team, again, the team, I keep saying, going back to that, but you got a great team on it that has put it together, and it all seem like they're all working on the same idea, and they're all like staying in their lane, doing what they do best. And you could tell it's a passion of love with all of the creators on it. And like I say, you're going to look back on this book and, you know, what we call eternity, and just the whole story of Divinity being the Valiant original title that came with VEI, and what it is. So I 5.
Just so good.
So, and I want to know, once you've read this, guys, what parallels to this story did you maybe see in another story you may remember or know of? It is a unique story, but there are some parallels, and I'm curious to what you guys may have seen.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below.
There's also that subscribe button down there too. Make sure you punch that. We'd appreciate it. Follow us at Twitter at Hoodoo TV, also on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank our friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. Be sure to check them out. They got all sorts of nerdy stuff on there.
Links down in the description. Thank you for watching Hoodoo TV. We appreciate you guys.